Hey everyone, Stegar here and welcome back to Hunterville. In today's episode we're going to be filling out this block with a construction site and kind of doing a whole lot of work just around here, and that takes up basically the whole episode. Here I'm placing down these clipping networks to try and kind of make it so that the cliffs don't appear when I lower down the terrain in here. I end up removing these later on since I actually didn't end up needing them in the first place, but I just decided to include it here to show you kind of the process of how I was going about doing things. And here I was placing down these walls to try and create like the edge of the construction site up against the roads around it and stuff, and just copying them over to make them like twice as thick. This project is kind of something that I've been thinking about doing for a while. I tried some stuff out midway through recording the last episode, but it didn't really work out, so I didn't really show any of that stuff in the last episode, as I'd kind of planned for the last episode to be the construction site episode and also include the road construction and the park that you see at the top of the screen. But yeah, as I keep saying, it didn't really work out, and I just decided to dedicate a whole episode to working on this construction site here. My inspirations are kind of all over the place. I mean, there's some sort of real life stuff that I had in the back of my mind, as well as a few other construction sites that I've seen people build on YouTube, such as the big one by Acruis in Aurelia. He did a massive construction site that did take up like a whole episode as well as one by Crumbs McGee from a couple of years ago, and also Strict Toaster's one in Nidal. I was looking through all of those different ones, and there's probably a few others that I haven't mentioned, but I used as kind of a reference to get a general idea of what people can create in this game. And here I'm using the construction props from Beard Monkey. I think these are actually for like little houses or something, but I'm just using them to try and create like this massive construction site, which my original plan was to create like a convention center here, but the design of this and kind of my changing thoughts throughout the project end up making it more of like an arena with a big open space in the middle that you'll see kind of appear in a couple of minutes as we continue to kind of expand this out by copying and pasting all these like columns and the concrete things as well. I found that copying and pasting was the easiest way to do this, just because of like all the repetitiveness and making sure that things line up properly. I just had to do it like once and then they're all there. The only thing is the terrain heights. It didn't seem to like want to stick to all one height, so I basically would just align it in the right position horizontally, and then use the vertical alignment tool with Move It to align everything vertically really quickly and without having to put in much effort. But here you see I kind of just selecting different bits and copying and pasting them into different places. I think I skip over a whole lot of stuff about now, and we kind of see almost the final product of how big this convention center or arena or whatever I said it would be actually is. And here I'm just like copying the columns down so that they go down further into the ground, as I wanted the center of this to be more like sunken into the ground than the rest of the area, and also putting these walls here to try and separate it out from what's underneath. Is I'm not sure, there might be parking underneath the other part of this building, but it also could just be land, as this is like already deep underground, so that would require more effort to try and like excavate out parking lots or something if they were putting parking lots in there. But yeah, just again a lot of copying and pasting and lining things up. I mean, this episode is quite repetitive, but I did remove a whole lot of footage that I felt like wasn't really worth showing, as it's all kind of the same to a point. And here I'm just kind of starting to copy in different things and kind of create the base of this arena area, and sort of just realized that I don't actually need all the terrain lowered down as far as I had anyway, and I also do a whole lot of stuff off camera to try and delete props that I don't really think I need, as I didn't really want the prop limit to be too affected by this project. I mean, I probably still used like 1800 props or something in this episode alone, which it's sort of okay considering that I've been averaging about 400 props per episode for like the past, well, since the start of the series basically. I've been averaging about 300 to 400 props per episode, so this takes its toll, but overall I'm still only at like 5,000 props, and like 13 episodes into the series I almost forgot which episode this was, as I don't really have it like written down, or I mean it's actually at the top of my screen recording this, but you know, you have a mind blank. And here I was making like some lift shafts and stuff and using procedural objects. You might not see that, oh it is right now, but just kind of making this concrete thing in half to kind of open up the space for where the lift would go underneath into what might be parking or might just be some sort of like storage or backstage area or something. I'm not really sure, but it's there anyway, and I'm trying to tell a story about it, so yeah, there's that. And these required like a bit of copying and pasting, and just using the I think it's like alt and then clicking the copy button and move it, copy stuff in place. So I just align it in place as I was with the other stuff, and then just copy it in place and move it to a different height. And also like adding in some extra pillars on some sides, as I feel like with the way the roof could be supported, it might need thicker columns in some places than in others. And you also saw me basically just copy the whole site and create another floor with it, and now I'm deleting some spaces where there could be like a main atrium or something where people enter the building, and there's a whole lot of stuff, as well as maybe some staircases and stuff when it all gets built. And here I was trying to do some stuff with roofs and stuff. I didn't end up including any of this in the final build, as it was just really finicky and didn't really turn out how I wanted, but I decided to include it anyway to show you sort of my process of how I went about doing this, basically just using procedural objects and these steel beams on an angle to try and create some sort of slope, as I didn't want like a super flat roof. I mean, that's easy enough to do, but not really that exciting. And I was also having some trouble there with like copy paste and different heights, and just having so many props in the same place started to really get confusing. But yeah, I didn't end up including any of this at all, but I just thought that it might be interesting to watch, as it's just kind of an awkward process, and someone would probably find it interesting enough though, as this stuff just isn't really that easy. And now I'm moving on to using the surface networks to try and create like a little ramp down to some underground parking, and just making it out of dirt is like, it's still a work in progress, and trying to hide the fact that the cliff textures are showing through there where the ground is like really steep, but you can't see it because of basically just the way that all those clipping networks are there. I think I kept them in that little spot there, but removed them everywhere else, and putting down the concrete walls to try and create the edge of the ramp down to the underground parking. And I kind of did that in two parts, so I had like one wall and then finished, and then created another wall so that I could have it at different heights. And then you'll see me now just putting down some ploppable gravel over top of it, and trying to make it look as though this ramp going underground kind of disappears into the building. And yeah, I'm not doing that right now. I thought I would be, but I was just also placing down those dirt decals to try and blend things in a bit more with the cliff textures that are under that little spot where it looks unusual. And yeah, here just placing down some ploppable gravel. And now I think we are going to finish this off, but then we're going to start on the second building that forms part of this new construction area, and that is what I'm hoping would be a hotel. I mean, it's like a 10-story building, and the layout of it, I made it like a hotel, but obviously we're not starting on that yet, but I don't really know what to talk about apart from that. And here I'm just putting down this wall and things to kind of just cover up the end of it like I usually do when I'm making these entrances to parking lots. I'm probably going to have quite a bit of time in the next few weeks to do recording and stuff. I don't think I'll change my video schedule though, but I might use the time to kind of just record a whole heap of stuff, and then I'll have that for some coming weeks when things return back to normal with society and all this is over, as I imagine a lot of you watching this are currently in lockdown as well, and that has just been enforced here in New Zealand in the last week as well. But yeah, I was just putting down some cranes here, and now we're actually starting on the new building. I was just trying to make it off to the side first to kind of get a better understanding of how everything would look, and then copying it into place once I have all this kind of sorted out and stuff. And yeah, just a lot of copying and pasting, because I find that is the easiest way to do things when you've basically got a whole lot of the same elements that you just want to use, and also using the prop line tool to kind of mark out what I want. And here I'm trying to mark like where the lift shafts will go in this building. I didn't really leave any space for fire escapes or anything like that, but it's not too big of a deal, as I imagine it'd just be like maybe even on the exterior, although that doesn't look all that aesthetic. It does kind of serve its purpose even if it is on the exterior of the building. And yeah, here I'm going to copy it over and then basically just copy this in place a heap of times and paste it on top of each other. I didn't really worry about the floors of this building. I mean, you'll see me do stuff on top, but I didn't really see the need to do all the interior stuff, as you're not really going to see it. I mean, you're going to see through the windows, but you're probably just going to see darkness in there regardless of what you're looking at, so it's not really worth all the effort and extra props to add that everywhere. And just on the top here I was making it like half the building is like one story ahead of the other, so you've got like this half of the building is one higher, and then now I'm just placing down all these like concrete things on top to try and like finish off this floor. And yeah, just lowering them down in place, and then I'll go along and set them all to the same heights and things like this. But yeah, I mean, I do enjoy building construction sites, I guess, even if they are fiddly. They do look good. I don't think I'm going to do a live play after this one, just because of the nature of the episode. I feel like you can see enough from the cinematics that yeah, live play doesn't really do much justice in this episode. I mean, they're good for like flying around and seeing a whole lot of different stuff and like how things look from a distance, but with this one at least I'll just kind of jump straight into the cinematics when all this is over, which I think we still have a few minutes left of the time lapse, but yeah, I'm just going off track and talking about cinematics for the sake of it. Anyway, here I was just kind of finishing off this building, and then we're going to actually do some detail on the ground around this area and place another crane down here. And also I tried creating like hotel rooms, I guess. So you got like the hallway here, and then you'll see in just a second that I start putting some walls in between this and trying to like separate the building out into various different rooms for like a hotel setup. And just all the walls are concrete and have been laid down already on this floor. And yeah, just doing that on both sides and staggering the doorways so that it kind of doesn't look so unusual. I mean, it still looks a bit odd, but I feel like it would be a bit weirder if the doorways were like directly opposite each other. And here I was just putting down some scaffolding or like staircase thing so that people can like climb up while they're working on the construction site, and just lowering that down to the right level so it lines up with what's below it, and just stretching that through like the whole height of the building, and kind of lowering it down into place again. And I also do that on the other wall here, just by copying and pasting it really quickly. And some like orange fences to stop people from actually entering in here. That's what I'm doing now. I think I change up this specific spot to kind of create a entrance into the construction site for like trucks and stuff to drive in here. But just also putting down some decals. I thought we were going to do something else by putting a fence around the whole site, but putting down those decals first to kind of make the ground look a little bit less monotonous and just kind of a bit rougher around the edges, and then doing that fence around there really quickly. And I was trying to find some piles of like dirt or something to put down. These ones were a bit unusual as they're not all the same size, and it took me a good few seconds to realize what was going on. I thought I'd like was putting down a different asset, but it's just that they have size variations, and I kind of just used that there. And now I basically just placed down a whole lot of construction vehicles that I wanted to use, and just copying them over and aligning them to the right heights so that they actually look like they're in the right place and looks as if there's actually something going on with this construction site. And here is just like offices, and there's probably a toilet block in here too for all the workers to I guess have their lunch breaks and stuff at, and just removing these few fences and creating like a weird little slope thing with some PO'd surface to try and make it look like there's a proper entrance into the site. But we're almost at the end of the episode, so if you've enjoyed me rambling all the way through this one, then leave a like, and if you're new to my channel and want to see more of my videos, then subscribe and ring the notification bell. That way you'll get notified whenever I upload another video, which should be next week, and I can almost guarantee that that will happen. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.